Uh, Welcome, my dear viewers, once again to Dr. Paul Kibicho YouTube channel. On this session, I'll be discussing something that is very, very important to all of us. And I have the authority because I am Dr. Paul Kibicho, who has graduated more than 10 times, and therefore the benefits of education cannot be overstated. In my 29 years career, I have been talking to people on matters of finances. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, I spent my whole day in Othaya at a place called, I was in a place called Othaya Munyange and a place called Madenge Technical Institute before I proceeded to another place in Othaya town. And then I went to Yakaja High School where I met my friend, Mr. Onesmus Mwangi, who is the principal, and I got a chance of discussing some few things with my fellow Kenyans. What I'm just about to say will disturb quite a number of people. Thank you very much, Madam Shi, the tourist watching from Iraq. You only like dropping me some message on my wall, but you don't communicate to me. You have a case to answer before the jury on a light note. Now, I'll first of all give you, I'll create first of all what we call some background information so that I may be able now to build on that case. In the year 19... Othaya is my place. Yeah, Othaya Hospital, my home is okay. My grandmother is at Kerine. My grandmother is at Kerine. My great grandmother is from Gadombe, and my father's grandlad is Kairode. So you can see we are related. Take care, otherwise you'll be crisscrossing on very dangerous grounds. Thank you very much, Mr. James Kariuki, watching from Tagasa University. You must be one of my students. I don't know whether I teach you. Because I normally teach there at Tagasa University, but of course I only teach masters and PhD students. If you're one of those people in those two categories, we have met. Now I was coming to this point, and please take note of this. It is very, very important that you consider this. And I'll first of all tell you that the mistake that we have, the biggest mistake that we do, we don't learn. All of you, for those who have gone through school, you know how expensive school fees payment is. And you know how bad, and you know how terrible it is for a child to be sent home for school fees balance. I was a victim. I was sent home for school fees balances 21 record times. I don't curse my parents in any way whatsoever, because my parents, they did what they could. May they rest in peace, because they have since left us. I have paid school fees for some children whom I'm not related to. And when issues school fees comes to me, I feel like shedding tears, because I was sent home for school fees balances 21 record times. There is nothing that disturbs a parent like when a child is at home when others are in school, and when every neighbor can see that your child is not sick, but the child is at home, courtesy or for failure to pay school fees. What do we require to do? And I have told you on a number of occasions that it does not matter what kind of an excuse you give. Giving an excuse does not change the basic texture and position of the status. So if you have not paid school fees, you have not paid school fees, period. If I have been telling parents, if you get children, please plan for them. Please plan for your children's education. The only thing that you can give to your child that will not be sold out immediately you disappear from this universe is education. If my parents educated me, for instance, to the PhD level, which I am in now at this point in time, whatever else they left behind, we could have sold it together with my brothers and sisters. But luckily, because education sticks, this education will only disappear when I die, or should something happen, God forbid. So can we plan for our children's education? It is not right for you to go borrowing school fees, either taking a loan to educate your child. It is not right, I say this, to go taking an emergency, a normal loan, a platinum loan, a Shylock loan, a Furisa, a KCB, an Mshwari, a Tara, a Blanche loan to educate your child. Doing that irritates God to the maximum. Why? It is, and I have told you, I was sent home for school fees balances 21 record times. I wish you can read my book, which is now online. Should you want to get my book online? I'm sending you, I'm just putting it there. I'm putting something on my wall right now, so that if for those people who'd like to get my book online, you read that book, which is called Defying All Odds. You just go to my link, and I'm putting the link here, down here now. I'm putting the link here so that anybody desirous of getting to understand what it is that I'm talking about, you may know, because majority of us people, they think that Kibisho was born and brought up in a loyal family. I was not brought up in a loyal family. No, I am a self-made person. I'm now putting for you .co, seller.co slash m Paul Kebicho slash m Paul Kebicho. So if you can be able, that is Paul Kebicho, you can be able to get my book online. Please get that book. Get that book. Read. Listen in and read and get to see what it is that. Who is this Kebicho? You know, I have said my story. I have given my story completely. I don't hide it. Me have nothing to hide. I say I was born and brought up in a forest. But that aspect of being brought up in a forest, I never became a monkey. No, if anything, I'm an academician. So you can just get my, once you put that HTTPS semicolon, is it semicolon, then two slashes there, seller.com. Is it dot? Sorry, let me just make sure I did not confuse you guys. Something here, I have to edit this. Let me remove it again because I want to ensure that I give you the right thing. It's very, very important that you plan for your children's education. I have done it for my children, not because I have a lot of money, but because I know what education can do. Education has taken me to more than 1 or 2 countries worldwide. Education has made me to stay in my own compound. Education has made me to drive my own car. Education has made me to get all the friends I'm talking to right now. Education has made me to, okay, I think I was right, .co slash or I'm just giving you this then slash Paul Kebicho. Paul Kebicho. Paul. I'll talk about education briefly. Now, thank you. I've given you my, if you just put that, you'll be able to get my books online. There's nothing, and I repeat this without fear of contradiction or iota of doubts. Are you there and you're a parent and you have given birth to a child who is a human being? You do not have the luxury of wealth. You do not have estates to bequeath to your children, even when you leave this world, for instance. The only thing that you can give to your child, who should not be tampered with despite many other factors surrounding your children, is education. So I'm suggesting, first of all, remind you, in the year 1963, the size of Kenya was 583,000 square kilometers. And the population, those times, those years, the population was 7 million people. Today, 55 years down the line, we are 55 million Kenyans, and the size of Kenya is less Migingo. So the size of Kenya has shrunk, but the population has exploded. So what does that one tell us? We do not even have land to give to our children. Not all of us people are fortunate to have what we call estates, real estates, big estates to give to our children. So if you want your child to be dependent in life, give him education, give her education. It does not matter there are no jobs. At God's appointed time, you get that child of yours will get a job. And I've been telling parents, if your child performs so well, Equity Bank is prepared to take your child up to university level and also to Ivy League universities, including MIT University, Harvard University, among others. So one of the things as a parent you need to do is to encourage your child to study hard and to study smart. And then, if you have a child who is 1 year old, I want now to demonstrate what you require. If you have a child who is 1 year old, this child has got 5 years to go to grade 1. So God has given you 5 solid years to plan for that child's education. So if you give this child food, you dress this child, you give him or her comfort, that is what we call a roof over his or her head. Whose responsibility is it to educate that child? Why do you ignore that responsibility of putting some money aside for that child? And the money has never been enough in the first place. Remember, even before you got that child, money was not enough. And secondly, when you get this child, even if you're employed, the employer will not come and give you more money because you have another new responsibility. The employer expects you to plan using the resources you had prior to getting that child, and to ensure the child eats well, the child sleeps well, the child gets dressed well, among other amenities. So I'm giving an example of a 1 year old child. Even before I talk about a one day old child, let's even talk about a 1 day old child. This child has got 6 years to go to start to grade 1. So if you are putting aside, for instance, for that child from the day the child is born, because the responsibility of feeding that child does not start on downloading. Once you get it, starts even when the child is actually inside the mother's womb, because the mother must eat well, the mother must exercise, the mother must exercise caution in terms of what she's doing, so that the child can be brought into this world being healthy and in good shape and form. So if you have a child who is 1 day old, please put, if you put 1,000 shillings, for instance, let us even say 3,000 shillings, 100 shillings per day for that child, per day, that is 3,000 shillings per month. If you multiply 3,000 by 12, that is 6,000 shillings. If you multiply by 6, by the time the child is joining grade 1, you have 16,000 shillings. Is it rocket science? It is not rocket science. And you cannot go putting that money into what you call a savings money, is a money bank. Because the moment you get broke, you literally go get that money bank and you start crashing it on the ground to get the proceeds you've been saving there. You have to separate that money from you. Then that child has got 6 years to go to junior high. So 6 plus 6, these are 12 years. Then that child has got 3 years to clear junior high. So that is now 15 years. And that child has got 3 more years to clear what you call senior high. So 15 years. So if you have a 1-year-old child, we need to plan for that child's education now, so that by the time the child is joining those various stages of education, you will not be going for loans, you will not be borrowing money from your friends, you will not be calling us for what we call goat eating, which is not goat eating but rice eating. You will not be calling people for base. Why? You have enough money to educate that child. You require an education policy. Dr. Paul Mwangi Kebisho is an authorized appointed financial consultant with Britam. I'll give you a Britam education policy that will solve all the education problems for your child. And that child will be educated up to university level without you borrowing money, because it is your responsibility to plan for that child's education. And again, an assurance, I'll give you what we call a super education policy, which is properly tailor-made to ensure that every stage you get school fees for your child until he or she completes education. In the event you're not there, the education of your child is guaranteed. In the event the child is not there also, we have got avenues of giving you back money together with your interest. You need to talk to me. That is on education front. So we have an education policy that can help you plan for your child's education from day 1 to the time the child is joining university, without you going back to your pocket, without you organizing a funds drive to educate your child. Done with that. If you want for more information, you know how you can get me. Call me on 0722 633 021 or drop me a text or a WhatsApp message. I'll be talking of other programs later, but that is what I thought it was good for me to share. May God bless you. For more information, get in touch with me. Shalom, shalom, shalom.